Dan here, Vagabond Buddha. Just finished my run and I'm walking on the beach as I cool off. I'm in Phuket, Thailand, and it's Kata Beach. Anyway, I was listening to, when I run, I listen to people who are aware of the present moment, who are aware of awakening. Today I was listening to Mooji, M-O-O-J-I. He has a process that he takes people through. He calls invitation to awakening, or invitation is what he calls it. While I was listening, I was reminded of one time I posted about Mooji on Vagabond Buddha, and I got a note from someone who told me, be careful, he's a fraud, which frankly was a bit odd for me to read that Mooji's a fraud, because I learned about present or first experienced present moment awareness 38 years ago, and I only known about Mooji for 5 years. So what Mooji's talking about is real and true, and in fact it's the most significant of being aware of the present moment, or being awake, or whatever you want to call it, has been the most significant thing in my life, because it's a joyful place to be. It's a joyful place to live. And so for this person to say that he's a fraud, apparently he defrauded me 33 years before we met. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good fraud. And so, anyway, just a thought. No doubt whoever left that note had never experienced what Mooji's talking about, or they wouldn't understand that it might be the only true thing they ever have heard in their life. And practically everything else in this world is transparent, but what Mooji's talking about is really the real part of life, which is consciousness itself. Your experience of experiencing, if you'll have it that way, and it's limitless. It goes in all directions. It's not time-based. Some people call it I am. It's the perception of perception, if you will. And within that, your mind speaks eventually. Your parents teach it a word or two, a thought or two occurs, and your mind, if you will, learns the game of society and begins to play it. And that, my friend, potentially is useful. Having a mind is potentially useful in some senses. But if you believe you begin and end at your mind, you're going to live a very painful life, because it's not real, it's transient. Your opinions change over time. But consciousness itself, the place where the mind, if you will, operates, the place that observes the mind operate is the experience of experiencing. And that's the door that Mooji is inviting you to step through. And he's not the only one. And that's the other funny thing about the comment. Is that he's talking about the same thing as the Buddha. There's others out there, Papaji and Eckhart, Tolle. I could list probably 50 of them, but that's not the point. The point is that there's not the point is to stand and say that it's worth your time to find out what Mooji is talking about. It's maybe the most Mooji, or any of them, Buddha, that living in the experience of experiencing is a joyful way of being on the planet, and living in the belief that your mind is the beginning and ending is quite painful. It's joyous from time to time, but in the aggregate, it compares little to what's available if you can live in your life rather than believe in your life, or believe your life to be something. I know that's odd sounding, but anyway, so I start my day every day with a run, as I've told you many times before, and I listen to someone interesting who knows this place, and I can share that space with them as they speak. And it gives me a nice, centered beginning to my day. After my run, I do some sit-ups, some push-ups, some pull-ups, and maybe go for a swim. But when you start your day understanding who you are, and that you're not that complaint about how things aren't exactly how they should be, if you're not that complaint when you start your day, you can have a list of actions that you're going to take today. There's nothing wrong with planning and executing your plan. But if you're the complaint, if you're a complaint that your life would be better if you did these things, that's your mind speaking to you, and your life cannot be better than perfect. Your surroundings may change, the car you drive, the house you live in, but that's all superficial. If you're living in harmony with yourself, the I am, all of that will at most just be a convenience, or I won't even say the paint on the car you're driving. It's not even that significant in relation to the I amness or the isness. So pursue that. Call it spirituality if you like. Keep your religion. It has nothing to do with religion. It's the space. Your mind lives in the space, and your mind is what holds your beliefs and reminds you of what your beliefs are. And they change over time. And what you believe in, which God, if you believe in a God at all, is a mind function. You can experience God, if you will, but that's being with I am, which is being the experience of experiencing. And that's not the same as believing in God. Being with God is not. Believing in God cannot compare to being with God. And if you're a physicist or whatever, if you're an atheist, being with God would just be being with the all, experiencing the all, the one consciousness. And you can experience being with God, no matter who your God is, and you're under your mind's beliefs. So, anyway, thanks for listening. Have a great day.